Good afternoon and welcome back to DR Sports Transfers, the show that keeps you in the loop with all things transfers in England and in Europe and around the world as well, in fact, on DR Sports. Make sure that before we even get into these juicy topics today, because trust me, we're going to take a while to get through all of these juicy topics. Like the video, comment with your thoughts as well about the rumours, the transfer ins and outs, and of course subscribe to DR Sports if you haven't already. 212,000 subscribers. Can we get to 215? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget as well, an incredible return of the Premier League on DR Sports this week, and it's the only place to be. Trust me, it's the only place to be this weekend. You've got on Saturday, the Saturday Football Show returning with myself. We've got Matisse. I think Fuad's here as well. So if you watched DR Sports last season, you'll know all about the Saturday Football Show. I can't, for one, wait for that to come back. And then, of course, on Sunday, West Ham versus Man City, 4:30, and Leicester, Brentford as well before that at 2. So great games to kick us off on the season. And don't forget, on the Saturday Football Show, we'll be reacting to every game that happens at 3 o'clock, and of course reacting to Fulham versus Liverpool, the early kickoff on Saturday. Can't wait for it. But let's get into this one then, the transfers on DR Sports. And today, this news has come out that Manchester United and Chelsea are monitoring Leicester City's former England striker Jamie Vardy. Who would have thought it? At 35, he has a year left on his current deal, but doesn't mean that he still can't score Premier League goals. That's what Manchester United and Chelsea are both desperately trying to do this season. I can't see it personally happening. And what does it mean if Vardy goes to United? Well, it means that they're basically going to be looking to, offload chances onto him in the same way that they're offloading to Ronaldo, in the way that he's an out-and-out number 9. He won't track back. He'll be in behind the strikers. He can only really be effective when he's got that space in behind. I can't see him going to Man United at 35. But I could see him going to Chelsea. I really could. And I think they need that focal point up front who knows how to put the ball in the net at this level. I think Kai Havertz has been a used option at the false nine position. But even still, he needs someone that is going to score 15 to 20 goals a season. And it's a massive if, but if Vardy stays injury-free, he can still do that. As he has shown for the last 5 years, really is one of the best players in the Premier League history to have scored this many goals after the age of 30. He really is up there. His career kind of came alive when he turned 30. What a story he's got. But Manchester United and Chelsea fans in the comments right now, what do you think? Is this realistic? Is it a bit garbage? Who knows? Vardy is running on 100 cans of Red Bull, says Roma. Benjamin, though, saying that Vardy would be a great bandage for Chelsea. What I think he means by that is the fact that he, could come on and be that person that, really improves the team coming off the bench. You look at their players that are going to start the game, the big money signings in Havertz. Werner will probably leave, but you never know. He could come off the bench and slot the goals in very easily. But yeah, Jamie Vardy, 35 years old. Does he have one last throw of the dice when it comes to a big Premier League team, a massive one, a top 6 one? Let us know in the comments. Could he go there? Right. Interesting news for Tottenham. They're back in for Wolves winger Adama Traore at 26 if they are unable to reach an agreement with Roma for Italy midfielder Nicolo Zaniolo, who is only 23. Don't forget that Jose Mourinho is the former manager of Tottenham, now at Roma. He is going to play a hard bargain. Don't be confused about that. He is going to know how much Tottenham want his player. They just played each other in pre-season as well, which could have spiced things up a little bit. But he knows how much Tottenham want him, and he knows that, okay, well, if you want him, you're going to have to pay the big bucks. So he is going to play hardball. Traore obviously has been at Wolves for some time now, is a La Masia student, comes back from Barcelona, goes to Wolves. Didn't really get a look in at Barcelona, if I'm honest with you. But when he goes back to Wolves, and then we were speaking to Matt Cooper, the Wolves fan, before the end of the season started, he said if the right offer comes in, he will probably go. And it looks like if Tottenham are serious about this interest for him, then they could easily snap him up, considering the conversations that they've already had last year, considering the fact that his stock is probably a bit lower now as well, which means they'd probably be able to get him at a bit of a cut rate price. And knowing Conte, he'll probably want to turn him into a wing back as well. So it comes down to the price, whether Traore buys into the vision of becoming, an out-and-out winger and coming an inverted maybe or a wide wing back is kind of down to him, and obviously they'll have to reach an agreement in terms of fees as well. But Adama Traore to Tottenham, is it old news? Is it recycled? Let us know. It is back in there, and they do think it could happen. They are the favourites. Adama is honestly a bad player, says Omzo. No football IQ, just speed. Maybe a little bit harsh. Big Man says, according to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Cucurella, which we will speak about very, very soon as well. But listen, let us know in the comments, Tottenham fans, do you want to see Adama Traore back in amongst the chat at Tottenham, going to Tottenham? As I said, a Wolves fan here, FI, says, oh, is Adama linked to Spurs as well? Yet again, we don't need him actually. So there you go. He could stay at Wolves, but he could also leave as well. And it looks like Tottenham are back in for him, maybe a year or two too late, if I'm honest. But that are just my thoughts as well. So let us know in the comments, do you think that is going to happen? Renato Sanchez to PSG. Here we go. Full agreement reached for only a €15 million pound. How can it be a euro pound fee? A €50 million fee after a deal at the final stages last night. Medicals scheduled for Renato in Paris today. Personal terms agreed a long time ago, apparently. So Luis Campos signs the player he wanted since day one. Don't forget, Renato Sanchez's name has been linked everywhere recently when it comes to players that could, actually afford him. Teams that could actually afford him and his wages as well. Don't forget, he's a very sought-after player. But when you look at his record, what he's achieved, it's slightly under par. It really is, I think. So when you're looking at teams that he could go to, PSG, it does seem like it's the one option for him to really settle in and nail down a place and make sure his career is going in the upward trajectory. This is a big chance for Renato Sanchez. Let's not forget, 6 years ago now that he kind of burst onto the scene with Portugal in Euro 2016. And if we're being frank, he's failed to perform at a high level at Bayern Munich. Went to Lille, got his stock back up again, and now this is his second big chance to really give it a big go in France. Can he do it? Let us know in the comments, of course. Right, let's go on to that Cucurella news, which is the main picture in the thumbnail. Chelsea, according to Fabrizio, have now submitted a bid more than £50 million for Marc Cucurella on Tuesday evening. The club now hopeful to reach a full agreement with Brighton. Still no official answer. But in the last minutes, it looks like they have agreed personal terms and Chelsea have submitted that £50 million bid plus to Brighton. Chelsea fans, now I've heard very differing opinions on this one. I've seen Chelsea fans that say, well, listen, if we can bring him in to be competition or backup to Ben Chilwell, then that sounds great. But at the same time, another fan I spoke to yesterday said it's a waste of money. I mean, when you have spent, I think it was 50 million on Ben Chilwell initially from Leicester, to go back in after paying so much for a left back and paying another 50 mil at least for Cucurella seems extreme, if we're honest. Cucurella is a one-season wonder, says Roma. Jaden Fowler, Chelsea fan, says, I love Cucurella. 50 mil for a backup seems too much, says Puig. So interesting to see how this one goes. How are Aspie, Alonso and Emerson are all going? So yeah, they will have to have some kind of backup, but 50 mil for a backup when you look at, again, I'll mention Liverpool, £8 million for Robertson, and then you pay £11 million for his backup, 20 million total. Two really, really strong left backs there. Is it necessary to pay 100 mil for two left backs in this day and age, and one of them only be your backup? Who knows? Big Man saying Cucurella over Chilwell. He's not a backup though, says Freddie from Fulham. Cucumbera, says Neil Duoza. Why do you think he'll be a backup? Well, that's a good point actually. It's a valid question. Ben Chilwell notoriously gets injured a lot. He was out for most of last season, and if he doesn't start the season in a strong way, we know that he's had a lot of time to train now, but if he doesn't start the season well, then Cucurella could be the man to replace him. If not, he already has replaced him, and now Ben Chilwell is the backup. What do you think in the comments? Let us know right now. Another move for you that is looking like it's edging towards being a done deal. The key days lay ahead for the Benjamin Šeško future. with contacts ongoing, Manchester United and Salzburg are talking about Šeško, the 19-year-old striker. Unbelievable performance against Liverpool in pre-season, which Salzburg won. Leipzig won. So this kid is making moves. He's clearly a name that has been touted around by all the big clubs. And it looks now as if, as soon as Manchester United have run into these problems with Cristiano Ronaldo, it's almost as if they're looking for a future Ronaldo. And Šeško, from what I've seen of him so far, is very good. But you can be rest assured he is not going to be cheap. Any person that is negotiating with Manchester United right now knows to hike that price up. That's just the market at the minute. And especially when United come calling on your door for your best player, of course you're going to hack the market. That's why Frankie de Jong hasn't gone, because they've asked for too much. Lisandro Martinez has come. They have had to pay well over the odds for him. But it's interesting to see what happens with that one. Let us know in the comments. Will he go to United? It is going to be a very quick turnaround if it is a deal to get done. And Šeško has been making big moves in Germany. Can, at this early stage of his career, replicate that in the Premier League. As I mentioned, a really good performance against Liverpool in the pre-season not too long ago. But it's absolutely crucial this next few days for United. Will their negotiating team get it across the line, or will they fumble another one? Just like Frankie de Jong. Who knows? Let us know in the comments what you agree or disagree with that. Let's read some of your comments right now. Thong setting, says Luke. Bundesliga tax, says Neil. When we're talking about Šeško, they're buying good players. That's not a good business to me, says James Patrick. I'm not too sure about that. So it's interesting. Who knows what happens? Alex, I don't get why Erik ten Hag gives Sancho, Rashford and Martial second chances. Well, I think, out of all of those players, I'd say Martial's had the most chances, Rashford second, and obviously Sancho just joined next year. And it's, of course, rumoured as well that they could be losing out on Frankie de Jong to Chelsea, which would just be incredible. It really would. And that is a big slight on the Manchester United negotiation team that they've been in. It's almost embarrassing to have been in for this many targets across a whole window, and you're just letting teams come and pinch your targets right under your nose with a more financially lucrative offer with Champions League football as well. Manchester United fans, let me know in the comments right now how you feel and how you rate the transfer window so far in terms of the players brought in, the players that you wanted to bring in but couldn't. Give me a score out of 10, Manchester United fans. Would you take de Jong at Liverpool, says Chelsea supporter, but with a Man City badge in his emoji, AGT. Yeah, I would. I actually would. I would indeed take Frankie de Jong. I do think he's a good player and he's still got a lot left in him. Sultana W reminded me that Salzburg was the team he played for. That is true. That's what I said initially. Liverpool FC 1012 says, I don't want to live anymore. Well, if you're a Liverpool fan, trust me, you do want to live, mate, because we've got a great season ahead of us. But I hope that is a joke. Right, there you go. Let's move on to the next story that we have here. And it is Alex Telles, keeping on by Manchester United. Alex Telles, here we go, and confirmed on loan to Sevilla. 2023 is the contract expiry date. That's a year. And there is no buy option clause. So I guess this is fully determined on how well he plays in that period and if he can secure a deal for himself. 22-year-old Ricky Puig will join LA Galaxy on a permanent deal from Barcelona this week on a 3-year contract. Documents now being prepared. The 22-year-old has preferred LA Galaxy to the sunny climates of Barcelona. Is this a genuine move for Puig going to LA Galaxy, who had a really promising La Liga career ahead of him, or is this Barcelona pushing him out the door to get some more money in to help register their new signings? Let me know in the comments. I'm going for the latter. I do believe that if you are playing at Barcelona, with all due respect to the American game, because again, it's on the rise, the World Cup's there in 2026, but if you are a player for Barcelona and you go to LA Galaxy at 22, it could be a problem. I'm actually getting a FaceTime here from Robbie. I don't know if he's meaning to do this. Is it a pocket dial, Robbie? I think it is, to be honest. But I thought we could have got Robbie's thoughts there on these transfer newses just then. But I think it was a pocket dial. But Ricky Puig going to LA Galaxy from Barca on a 3-year deal, it doesn't sound like it's something that he wants to do. I could be wrong. I could be well wrong. But let me know in the comments too what you think about that. Puig is retired from football. RIP, says Roma. Wayne Meyer says, I'm sick of Barcelona. And there you go. Interesting thoughts there. Right, let's get on to the next one. Cristiano Ronaldo's early departure from Old Trafford during Sunday's match at Rayo Vallecano was unacceptable, according to Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag, who was questioned about the fact that not only Ronaldo, but other first-team players left before the full-time whistle on Sunday at home to Rayo. And he said it isn't acceptable. He didn't know that this was happening. Which offers two questions. For me, the first one is, why didn't you know that was happening? You surely would have all your players on the bench or in the technical area at least during that time. So if one of them left, you'd be able to ask them where they're going. And two, if you didn't know that they were going, then that causes an issue as well. Because that, to me, shows a lack of respect to the authority. Listen, Ronaldo is Ronaldo. In his head, he can do what he wants. But even if you're a Sunday League team, if a player leaves before the end and doesn't show that respect to stay until the full-time whistle, then to me it says that they don't respect the manager or their teammates. And to be honest with you, that's pretty much how I feel about Ronaldo and Manchester United at the minute. He's not showing them respect. At the same time as that not showing them respect, he's not delivering on the pitch. It doesn't look like he's been around much in pre-season. Of course, he has had to deal with family issues as well, which I understand. But can you excuse it? Can you excuse that kind of behaviour at Manchester United? You can guarantee that Sir Alex Ferguson never would have had that. And if you did do that under his reign, you were out the door. Look at Roy Keane. He did it, was out the door. It doesn't matter how big you are, you can go. The king is back is what Roma is referring to in the comments there, talking about how he made an Instagram comment saying that the king is back when he was talking about playing for Manchester United at the weekend, but he left before full time, which is not good. None of his staff noticed and told him, says the hottest Spur, ? I agree. Ten Hag has already lost the dressing room, says Mood Farsley, and Jamie says apparently it was to get through the traffic with their personal security guards. Well, if I had that excuse, if I turned up late, which I haven't ever, to DR Sports, and that's the excuse I'm going to use as well. Didn't Sir Alex Ferguson chuck a boot at Beckham? He did. Neil D'Souza saying Ronaldo over Manchester United. And at the minute, it does seem like he's not really showing any respect to the manager or his teammates. You saw him and Ten Hag have a chat when they were getting a water break during that game, and he was kind of like not really interested, or the body language that he gave across wasn't interested in what Erik ten Hag had to say. Lucky reminding us that Ronaldo is no bigger than the team, as it should be with any team and any player. Dean Henderson, the former Manchester United goalie, has fumed at a criminal waste of a season last year at Manchester United. He didn't play at all, wasn't really around during the Ralf Rangnick period last season, and now has his chance at Nottingham Forest this season. And he's come out today and said that he's glad that Ralf Rangnick didn't see him play in train because he thought he would have got picked, which might have ruined his chances to get a move. Sensational confidence from Henderson, but let us know what you thought about that explosive interview where his self-confidence is on 100. A club from Saudi Arabia's Pro League has also indicated its offer of a move for Ronaldo at 37 to United, and it will remain on the table after the World Cup if his future remains unsolved. There you go. Maybe Ronaldo goes out to Saudi Arabia. Who knows? Leicester. Now, this is a massive story that we spoke about a couple of days ago. Leicester have rejected a second offer worth just over £40 million from Newcastle for the England midfielder Maddison, who is 25 years old. A great time in his career to move to a big club. But what you have to remember as well, this guy scored 18 goals last season, which I think gets overlooked. And I think his value to that Leicester team is way more than 40 million. Yes, it's a strong offer to come in with at the start, but I think he's around the 60 to 70 mark if you consider the English tax, if you consider his age, which is perfect, and his Premier League experience. He scores against the top six. Great goal at Anfield last year. So, Leicester fans, how fuming are you as well? You'll have seen the video we did yesterday about the lack of incomings at Leicester. How fuming are you with this transfer window so far? No players brought in, and it looks like one of your best, if not more, players are on the way out. Unbelievable. And Newcastle, if that wasn't bad enough, they're also targeting Harvey Barnes from Leicester as well, the 24-year-old, the winger at Leicester, could also go to Newcastle if they miss out on James Maddison, who would kind of be a replacement for someone like a Ryan Fraser at Newcastle. Leicester have also said that Fofana has hinted at the exit from the King Power Stadium by removing Leicester City from his social media profiles. Always an interesting one, that. Chelsea, again, have expressed interest in the 21-year-old. And Phil Foden, 22, has agreed a new long-term contract worth around £225,000 a week at Manchester City. A massive deal for him. Couple more comments. Maguire more power than Ronaldo, says Martin. Ten Hag to be sacked by December, says Roma. 9 Hag will lose to Brighton, says Koza Clapper. United are an utter shambles now, says the hottest Spur. And the attitude of Neuer, the ability of Kepa, says Damien, referring to Dean Henderson. Ronaldo to replace him as a player manager. Coin toss, says United fans have already been calling him. I won't say that, actually. Ten Hag is the Dutch Sean Dyche, says Young Sinatra. Very interesting. Maddison isn't going to Newcastle, says Rene B, the Leicester fan. Roma even says Maddison over Grealish. Let me know about that. Not 18 goals, 12 goals and assists, Alex. Okay, I thought it was 18 goals in all comps because I know he scored in the League Cup. Let me know in the comments. I think it is 18 goals in all comps. Might not be. Rivalries aside, do you think Ten Hag will do well? No, I don't. I do think he will get sacked. That's just my opinion. I'm earning £29 per year whilst Foden is getting 200k. Well, listen, life's unfair, isn't it? And that's just the way it is in football. Still think Newcastle need a cam, says Al Steele. Interesting when you consider that they're looking at both Maddison and Harvey Barnes, isn't it? Maddison notorious for playing in the middle, but Harvey Barnes an out-and-out winger, which is very interesting. Who will they get? Matty Renton, if you're watching this, let me know, mate. Right, there you go. A lot of transfer stories we've just got through on DR Sports. The main ones, Leicester looking to offload players. Vardy mentioned, Harvey Barnes, Tielemans still out there, Fofana, Maddison. Who is going to stay and who is going to go? Let me know in the comments as we close off for today. But we will be back tomorrow with more on DR Sports. Take care. Massive, massive weekend of football here on DR Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you next time.